are homeless, and it is wonderful to find out that there are different organizations to assist us. And as a person, I feel so happy. I'm happy that there are others reaching out to me, and I'm very, very grateful.
Price says 40 people are now transitioning into housing and other social services as a result of his team's latest outreach efforts.
This includes 2 homeless vets and 1 pregnant woman.
A critically mentally ill homeless woman was located and hospitalized at Harbor UCLA, while the family was contacted to start the process to guarantee continuing psychiatric services and supportive placement.
Residents support the homeless outreach efforts after battling the homeless problem in their own neighborhoods.
Thank you, Councilman, for your hard work, for doing to help the homeless while also helping to protect the quality of life for your constituents.
Price plans to continue to work to find more permanent housing, and in following with the city's new homeless strategic plan, he will also identify parking lots to serve as temporary shelters. Mobile showers and more storage facilities for the homeless are also in the plans. But the rise out of homelessness and into housing is often measured in small steps, one person at a time. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
There are more than 44,000 homeless people in LA County. Well, after-school programs that help boost student achievement are being threatened by lack of funding. As Gil Reyes reports, the drive is on to raise financing for the first time since 2006.
Save our programs! Save our programs!
Parents rally outside LA City Hall to support more funding for California's after-school programs.
This program, this vital program, has not received an increase in funding for nearly a decade.
And the services and the cost of living has gone up and up and up.
That's why Councilman Bob Blumenfield and his colleagues on the LA City Council unanimously support Assembly Bill 2663. It would add another $74 million to state after-school programs, an extra $1 a day per child. The measure would also adjust future spending increases to the rate of inflation. Supporters say not passing this could threaten LA's Best, a local after-school program for kids ages 5 to 12. UCLA studies show students enrolled in LA's Best are less likely to drop out of school in later years.
This is not daycare. It's an extension of our school day. It's where kids can get extra tutoring in math, science, and reading. It's where our kids are getting tutored because their parents can't be home by the time some of our kids get out of school.
Insufficient funding levels have hindered the ability of after-school programs like LA's Best to attract and retain quality staff, which has resulted in reduced staffing hours.
Councilman David Ryu authored the city resolution to support the bill now under consideration in the state capitol. It could come down to Governor Brown, who ignored a similar measure last year. That's because California already receives more than $500 million for after-school programs annually. That's more than any other state. But the city council says that's still not enough to offset cost of living and other increases over the past decade. Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Supporters say 50,000 students statewide could be shut out of after-school programs without additional funding. Well, with a fast-growing city, leaders look to keep up with the changing trends to make downtown LA an easier city to navigate. Rasha Goel has more. Rasha.
Yana, I'm here in downtown Los Angeles at Spring Street Park, where city officials are saying that over the next 5 years, over 80,000 residents are expected to live here in downtown Los Angeles. So they've put together a plan that's going to help make downtown LA more residential friendly. And not just for residents, but anyone who commutes or visits this international city of angels. On the forefront is Councilmember Jose Huizar, who has been working on what's known as the Downtown LA Forward Initiative, which focuses on improving traffic flow, pedestrian and bicyclist access, along with increased green and public space in downtown LA.
Whether it's pedestrian head start crosswalks that give pedestrians a 4-second head start, or green alleyways that make alleys a place you actually want to walk down, or reimagining our parks like Pershing Square Renew is doing.
Huizar has been working with the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, the Los Angeles Department of Transportation, and the Department of Recreation and Parks and other partners to implement the changes.
Really pulls together an amazing banner where we're going to bring 1,000 bike share bikes to downtown in just a few months, where we're going to take Spring and Main from really great streets to amazing streets. Where we're going to prioritize pedestrian safety and the most vulnerable users.
We're just really excited to be a part of the community in downtown and to continue to provide these great services and great parks.
Officials look to make downtown more functional, accessible, and safer with 3 top goals in mind.
1, creating more livability in the downtown area. 2, continuing to promote economic development and tourism. And 3, working to connect downtown's distinct neighborhoods through alternative modes of transportation and creating more walkable and bikeable streets.
Something we all hope to experience very soon. In Los Angeles, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
Councilmember Huizar has led other initiatives in his district, including bringing back Broadway and Pershing Square Renew. Well, it's a Tinseltown mansion that's mixing a little Hollywood with a little history. The Waddles Mansion Showcase is a first-of-its-kind tour, and it's now open for business. Anna Marcos takes a look.
The historic Waddles Mansion just went Hollywood big time. The Department of Recreation and Parks, which owns the property, has teamed up with local interior designers for a first-ever showcase. And for $40 a pop, the public gets an up-close look at Hollywood glamour.
To have a home that's actually in this beautiful condition from 1908 is really unusual, and people, they love to see these things.
The mansion was built by Gurdon Waddles, a banker who financed the building of the first Hollywood studios. And now the showcase, called The First 100 Years, draws inspiration from 100 years of Hollywood movies and their movie stars, like the 30s movie siren Marlene Dietrich.
We see her as a woman of courage, of strength.
Picture this, Marlene Dietrich relaxing on her chaise lounge, wrapped in furs, smoking a cigarette, listening to 30s music. Oh, I've got a phone call on my phone. That's what this room is supposed to evoke.
It's a very glamorous lounge area for an actress like her to hang out.
She did a little bit both ways. She loved, there was a picture that I saw of her kissing Hedy Lamarr. She did dress in a very masculine way with a tuxedo and top hat. So she really did cross the lines in a lot of ways.
But if Dietrich is not your style, there's a Leo DiCaprio room, a Midnight in Paris room, complete with old-fashioned typewriter, an Audrey Hepburn room, which includes a closet inspired by her famous hats, and a room that uses the movie The Birds for inspiration.
In the Birds room, the designers have used it as very lightly. It's just a beautiful sitting room upstairs, but when you open the closet, all the wallpaper inside has birds, and they have little birds as accents in there.
We really think that a lot of people don't get a chance to see a house like this, and we really welcome them to come and be able to see a house in all of its grandeur.
The Waddles Mansion Showcase will be open to the public Thursdays through Sundays from now until April 17th. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
For more information, visit wattlesshowcase.com. While the city and LA Unified reach a compromise to put their first ever senior center on an elementary school campus, Gil Reyes explores the possibilities.
The young at heart enjoy a show at the newly opened Echo Park Senior Center. It provides the elderly in this multicultural community so many fun things to do.
There is a great deal of gratitude from all of us here and for all of those who are in the community.
You can see forever and ever.
Councilman Mitch O'Farrell calls the opening of the center, quote, the greatest professional achievement so far in his 2-year, 8-month term as councilman. It was a long, hard fight to finally open the center, but it happened.
Long story short, more than 50 families were evicted from this neighborhood more than a decade ago, when plans to build a school moved forward. But Councilman O'Farrell and community partners fought to have a portion of this campus reserved for the community. In this case, a senior center with free services.
So here we are with wonderful meals that will be administered, enrichment classes and programs, and interaction with the youth at the school, by the way, reading programs, etc. So seniors get to interact with young people, and it really is creating a village.
And not just with kindergarten to 8th graders attending Santa Cisneros Learning Academy. That's because older students are invited to volunteer here as well for graduation credits.
And actually having high school students come in and actually sit on a one-to-one basis with the seniors, having an instructor and then having the student helping that senior with computers.
Meeting people, meeting new people, having some new friends, and that's what we need. Helping one another, loving one another.
Remember, I'm 83, and he's 77. So, you never know.
Oh, yes, I'd love to see you again.
In Echo Park, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The center is open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Meals are free for visitors 60 and over. While the LA City Council takes steps to repair LA's broken sidewalks, a major sports event is coming to the Staples Center again, and an egg hunt that's helping unite a community. All these stories and more in City Beat. The Los Angeles City Council approved a comprehensive sidewalk repair plan that calls for spending about $30 million a year for the next 3 decades to do initial repair work, then return the responsibility for future fixes to property owners. The council voted 14-0 to approve a plan that follows a fix and release strategy in which the city pays for the initial repairs of sidewalks next to both residential and commercial properties. Council members said the plan will tackle a backlog of damaged sidewalks that has built up over decades. The NBA announced that Los Angeles has been selected to host NBA All-Star 2018. The 67th annual game will take place at the Staples Center, home of the LA Clippers and Lakers, on Sunday, February 18th. This will mark the record 6th NBA All-Star in Los Angeles and the 3rd All-Star at the Staples Center. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver joined Mayor Eric Garcetti and other officials at the Staples Center to make the announcement.
We're so excited. We love, love, love our basketball here in LA. I certainly do. And I'm so excited that we'll have the very best, not just in this country, but in the world, right here. And this isn't just good for the spirit of this town, it's good for the jobs right here.
Iconic shopping destination, the Beverly Center at La Cienega and Beverly Boulevard, is about to undergo a major transformation. The mall's owners plan to spend $500 million to restructure the entire facility by making it more contemporary and providing a better experience for shoppers. Some of the improvements include adding natural light, opening walls to take advantage of the panoramic views, a shining new exterior, and improved parking. The Community Coalition hosted its annual Egg Extravaganza for South Los Angeles families at Martin Luther King Jr. Park in an effort to promote peace and unity. The event featured an egg hunt, games, face painting, exercise activities for adults, and a special appearance from the Easter Bunny. Officials say there's been an uptick in crime. That's why it's so important for the community to come together.
We see families, young people, grandparents, parents at every park getting involved. And so it's extremely exciting and the best of what we can do to build the kind of community we deserve.
When you bring an activity like this to a space like this, then it changes the dynamic of what this park can be utilized for.
Could it be our home air conditioning tune-up services for no cost? Well, Rasha Goel has more on a summer treat for Angelenos.
In the West Valley, air conditioning is not a luxury. It is often a life-saving measure. It is a necessity.
That's why, starting July, Angelenos will have the opportunity to save some dollars and energy thanks to a new air conditioning incentive.
By July 1st, Angelenos will be able to sign up with DWP to have a contractor come to your home for free and tune up your air conditioning.
What it does is it includes, free of charge to the ratepayer, air filter replacements, outdoor coil upgrades, airflow adjustments, coolant assessments, and much more. Steps that will reduce usage and increase savings.
There will also be an incentive offering up to $150 toward the purchase and installation of a programmable thermostat. The LADWP Board of Commissioners authorized up to $4.5 million a year for the next 3 years for the new program.
The AC Tune-Up program can help residents in the Valley and throughout LA save between 20 and 30% on their energy costs.
And while a LADWP rate increase is in the works, Mayor Eric Garcetti says it is necessary and will help provide Angelenos with more rebates such as this one.
Just because rates go up doesn't mean that your bill has to. If you get with the program, and we have so many great programs, we can help you save money.
The less we use, the more we save, both in our pocketbooks and in energy and water resources.
City officials say the largest source of energy use is the heating and cooling systems for residents and businesses, and it's also one of the most neglected energy-saving areas, as many systems are not properly maintained. I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
The air conditioning tune-up program is for both residential and commercial buildings. Well, if your kids love Curious George, here's your chance to meet the cute monkey in person, celebrate the written word during Los Angeles Times Festival of Books, and for all of you Harry Potter fans, the waiting is over as the magic comes alive at Universal Studios. All this in this week's Things to Do. The Los Angeles Zoo and Botanical Gardens host PBS SoCal Kids Weekend. The event fills the zoo's eucalyptus grove with a variety of engaging fun for families, with book readings, themed crafts, activities, and a kids' dance party. Guests also enjoy a special opportunity to take photos with PBS Kids characters Curious George and Buddy the Dinosaur from Dinosaur Train. Curious George is available for photos between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m., and Buddy is available between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. PBS SoCal Kids Weekend is Saturday, April 9th and Sunday, April 10th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. The event is free with paid admission to the LA Zoo.
What I want is books, and it's all around here.
The Los Angeles Times Festival of Books is a free public festival celebrating the written word. It is the largest book festival in the U.S. Started in 1996, the festival is held on the last weekend of April, hosted by the University of Southern California, and features vendors, authors, and publishers. Some of the events are panels with authors discussing a common subject, storytelling, and performances for children, as well as the Los Angeles Times Book Prizes. The goal is to bring together the people who create books with the people who love to read them. The festival takes place on April 9th and 10th at USC, located at 850 West 37th Street. For more, visit events.latimes.com/Festival of Books.
A dream.
5 years in the making, the highly anticipated Harry Potter attraction has opened its doors at Universal Studios. Immerse yourself in the adventures while exploring the mysteries of Hogwarts Castle. Stroll through Hogsmeade Village and experience pulse-pounding rides and attractions like Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey and Flight of the Hippogriff that'll transport you into a world of magic and excitement. And that's a look at some things to do. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kay, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.
Kevin from Chatsworth, offering you a taste of New Orleans since 1986. You're watching LA City View, Channel 35. Our city, our channel.
Members, if you're in your offices, please report to the council chambers. I do want to take a moment and thank Mr. Harris Dawson, Ms. Martinez, and Mr. Ritter. Members, if you're in your offices, please report to the council chambers so that we can begin our work for today. Members, if you're in your offices, please report to the council chambers so that we can begin our work for today. Again, I want to thank Mr. Bloomingfield, Bonin, Englander, Harris, Dawson, Koretz, Martinez, and Root. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Friday, April 8th. Want to welcome you to your Los Angeles City Council. This council meets every Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday at 10 a.m. Public is welcome. Madam Clerk, I believe we have a quorum. Please call the roll.
Blumenfield, Bonin, Buscaino, Cedillo, Englander, Fuentes, Harris Dawson, Weezer, Koretz, Krikorian, Martinez, O'Farrell, Price, Rue, Wesson. 11 members and a quorum, Mr. President.
Okay, first order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
Martinez moves, Blumenfield seconds. Next.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Englander moves, Weezer seconds. Next.
Mr. President, item number 1 is an item notice for public hearing, and there are cards.
Okay, let's move on. Let's hold that. What else do we have?
Items number 2 through 8 are items for which public hearing has not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, so without objection, those items are now before this body. Do you have cards?
Yes, Mr. President. There are cards on items 2 through 8.
Okay, that brings us where?
Mr. President, that takes council to presentations, items called special or general public comment.
Thank you. Mr. Englander, 1 minute.
All right, we're going to turn the floor over to
Aaliyah, you get, or somebody. Good morning, Mr. President and members. Today is Pet Adoption Friday. And I have today is special. Many of you know Arlene, who's like our #1 volunteer. She's been helping me with the pet adoptions for years and years. But what she's done, she's also converted her daughter, Aaliyah, into a volunteer as well. So I have, I guess, a significant portion of your family with us here today. And what we want to keep Aaliyah so excited about volunteering, we have to find a home for this little Daisy. Daisy is 1 year old. This is as big as Daisy is going to get. She is ready to go, right? She has shots and microchipped, and she's just really looking for a home. All you have to do is look into her eyes, and you can see she's got one heck of a personality. Look, every time you adopt one of our dogs or cats, you're basically saving a life. And so what we're asking for you to do today is let's save Daisy's life. She's a sweet little thing. You're looking for unconditional love. Trust me, you don't have to look any further. We have shelters throughout the city of Los Angeles. If you call and Daisy's already taken, don't despair. We have other animals. Please come and visit us. But today, our goal is to find a home for Daisy today. Now, Aaliyah, come here. How long have you been volunteering?
Since I was 16.
And so
2 years.
So you're 18 now.
Yes.
And how long have you been volunteering, Mom?
Well, I've been working.
She volunteered, now she's working. She's been working. But anyway, you got to love a family that loves pets. So what we're going to do, we're going to have Aaliyah and Arlene are going to hang around for a bit. I'm going to ask you to kind of show Daisy off to our visitors that are with us today. And I should also mention that probably 80% of the dogs and cats that we get adopted are adopted by people that are here in the council chambers or people that are watching us on television or listening to us. So if you're in your office and you want a little dog, a lap dog, please come down and take a gander at Daisy. We're going to keep her here for a bit. If you're watching this and you have an interest, call 888-452-7381. Let's find a home for Daisy. Arlene, anything you want to say, or are we good?
We're good.
Okay, show Daisy.
She's trying to kiss you.
Show her around. Thank you.
Mr. President, I think she likes you, so...
Oh, wait, you got Mr. Koretz. Wait.
Yes, Mr. Koretz.
Thank you. Well, I'm not sure this is exactly the dog that we're talking about, but this seemed an opportune time to mention that today is the ASPCA's Dog Fighting Awareness Day. I'm not sure that this particular dog is going to be a dog fighter, but...
She's a lover, not a fighter.
Yeah, I think so. But I've introduced a resolution on this subject. I hope when it comes back that my council colleagues will support it. And I also, wherever she happens to be, Sheila Kukan is here from Best Friends, who originally suggested that we take this action. There she is. So let's do what we can to reduce dog fighting and to help take care of pit bulls and other animals that are rescued from dog fighting rings. So thank you very much.
Mr. Koretz.
All right, I think Adam Spiker's hand was going up in the back there. You might want to go check out the dog. Bring something home a little more special than your dad. All right, so thank you very much. And with that, I believe we'll go ahead and go into the next items, please. Sorry, we've got a special presentation from Councilmember Mike Bonin. The floor is yours.
Stand behind me. Hi, how you doing? Nice to meet you. How are you? Is Annie coming over? Hey, how are you?
Good morning, colleagues. This morning I'm here to celebrate and appreciate a unique public-private partnership that's helping us bridge the digital divide in Council District 11. As you all know, the Internet's an indispensable tool for our everyday life. People use it to access educational resources, employment opportunities, health care, and so many other things. It's a part of the fabric of our daily lives. And while I represent probably one of the more wired districts in the city, there are pockets that have no internet access, and the digital divide must be closed. And I'm very happy that we've got a public-private partnership that is helping us close that. Last year, a pilot program called Connect Home launched across 27 cities nationwide. Connect Home was spotlighted by the White House and the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development as an important tool in bridging that digital divide. The Housing Authority of the City of Los Angeles, HACLA, was selected to participate in that pilot program, and Kids Progress, Inc. is the local partner committed to providing internet access to families. And one of the places where that program is operational is at the Mar Vista Gardens housing complex in my district. Today I'm here with Ashley. Where's Ashley? Who is a mother of 3 and a resident of the Mar Vista Gardens housing development. She and her children and every child really deserve the opportunity to have a brighter future and to achieve their dreams, and having access to the internet is a big part of that. Ashley, and you'll hear from her in just a second, has an amazing story of success. She recently completed a master's degree program, and much of that program was completed online. There has been a pilot program providing free internet access in Mar Vista Gardens for a while. She was actually paying for her own because it was a stronger signal, and some of her neighbors actually tried to get on or wanted to get on to her Wi-Fi network. But she shows exactly what can be done when folks have access to the internet. But the reason I asked her here today is to ask her to join me as Arcadis is here today to donate a $10,000 check to Kids Progress, which will allow that pilot program there to continue permanently and will allow for free and fast access to the internet for all 600 families at Mar Vista Gardens. So I want to thank Arcadis for the donation, and I'm going to ask Macarena Flores, who used to be with us in Councilman Cardenas' office, to come up and present the check to Hackler.
Absolutely. I first want to introduce my lovely assistant, Amelia, who is the daughter of one of our water engineers, Christine Cotton, who works on a lot of our drinking water programs here in Los Angeles. But on behalf of myself and all of my colleagues at Arcadis, we'd like to present Kids Progress Incorporated with this $10,000 donation.
All right, we can do better than that. Let's give them a big round of applause. That's huge. Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Bonin. I really want to highlight your work, not just in the district, but always tirelessly working on behalf of our 600 families at Mar Vista Gardens. You've helped us bring on-site after-school programming. You've been a supporter of Kids Progress Inc. and HACLA as we embarked on this initiative to bridge the digital divide among public housing households across the city. In the last 2 years, we have connected more than 1,300 households with internet access, and it's been quite a journey, as we know, because for a lot of our families, paying $60 to $100 a month is just not a choice. We're really happy so they can choose fresh food and educating their children versus having to weigh whether or not they can pay for internet. And I also want to make my speech short because I know Ashley today has prepared a really nice speech and with some of her experiences with the on-site free Wi-Fi to the 600 households at Mar Vista Gardens.
Come on up.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. My name's Ashley Pensamiento, and the reason why I'm here today is to begin to talk to you about free Wi-Fi for the Mar Vista Gardens residents. For example, our residents are able to utilize the resources called Class JoJo. For those of you guys who are not familiar with Class JoJo is an application where your child and their parents are able to communicate with their child's teachers and other faculty members. This is a great benefit for those parents who are currently students, employed, or disabled. Class JoJo updates their information daily. This includes tasks that your child has completed or hasn't completed, homework, behavior, etc. Furthermore, I would like for you to keep into consideration that students must complete their homework online at some point in time. And I would like you to take into consideration all students are at some point required to do their homework online in order to become scholars. Nevertheless, free Wi-Fi gives our adults the opportunities to complete their homework online. Without free Wi-Fi, many of our residents would be unable to complete their mandatory homework assignments and begin to fail their classes. I personally have experience with doing homework online because I was a student. As he stated before, I got my bachelor's degree online as well as my master's, and I've been recently accepted to continue my PhD, which I plan to do a majority of that online. There's other resources that are beneficial due to online. Residents are able to book appointments and also prepare healthy food with the resources that are available to us. With that being said, I would like to thank everybody for your time and consideration.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. I have a couple certificates to present. I'll do that actually in the back to save a little bit of time. Just want to let Ashley and the other residents know that under Mr. Blumenfield's leadership, we're moving towards getting Wi-Fi throughout the city so everybody will have access to it. He's been doing a tremendous job on that citywide. Thank you. Thank you, colleagues.
Oh, thank you very much. Let's give him another round of applause. Thank you, thank you. Councilmember Cedillo, are you ready for your special presentation? You are. Then the floor, Mr. Cedillo, is yours.
Okay, where's yoga at? No? Yoga at? Come on up.
Hello. Hi. Hi, how are you? Thank you. I'm Marlene. Yeah, these are the kids. No, not the kids.
Morning, Mr. Michelson.
Morning. Join us. Mr. President, this morning we'd like to present Yoga At. They are a society that's health conscious. We've learned more about the importance of what we eat and drink, the importance of exercising, and more recently, the value of yoga and meditation. It is an extremely, extremely popular tool for those who seek a holistic approach to their personal health and health in our society. According to the 2007 National Health Interview Survey, which included comprehensive surveys of the use of complementary health approaches in the U.S., yoga is the sixth most commonly used complementary health practice in our country. Yoga is being taught in elementary, middle, and high schools across the nation. Often it is offered as an option in PE courses taught after school or incorporated into the academic day. But in many communities, yoga, like Starbucks, are not accessible. Imagine that. So today we are here to honor Yoga in Lincoln Heights. This is demonstrating how ever-changing our communities are. Yoga at Lincoln Heights brings yoga to students with special needs and offers weekly free classes for the community. Today we are joined by Marlene McCurtis and her husband. Yes?
Yes.
Esmeralda Sanchez, studio owner. Jose Alvarado, teacher. Brigitte Bloomer, teacher. Milena Selakovic, teacher, easy for you to say. Gus Barrientos, Lima principal, and program students. Noreen, are you going to speak? Is Noreen going to speak? Are you going to speak? Yeah, Noreen Vincent is here. She's our leader on this. Let me introduce her so she can talk about the program. Our city attorney. Come on.
Go ahead,
Yes, Noreen. Everybody knows Noreen. She's our TA.
Good morning. Thank you so much.
Morning.
And thank you so much, Councilmember Cedillo, for recognizing this group for the fine work that they're doing. I came across this program because I happened to take yoga from some of the greatest yoga instructors, including Jose Alvarado and Milena Hunter. And I found out that they were doing a program in Lincoln Heights that was bringing yoga to the Lincoln Heights High School and serving both the individuals who have special needs as well as other youth who may be at risk. In addition, they're also providing yoga, free yoga to the community. I think the organization felt that it was really important to provide this on a basis without charge, free, because for many people, even a small nominal amount of money is really too much. The program has been amazing. There are individuals who have come to Marlene McCurtis, parents of some of the students, who've said it's made a huge difference in the lives of these students. They've been able to reduce the medication that the students are taking, and so overall it's a wonderful program for the students and for the community. And so I want to thank you very, very much for taking the time to acknowledge this program and the wonderful work that they're doing for the community. Thank you so much.
So Marlene, add on?
Come on, let's give her a round of applause. No, thank you very much.
I really don't have much to say after Noreen's fine presentation and talk about our group. The only thing that I can say is that we're really grateful for this recognition of the work that we are doing, and that it is really our pleasure to be at service to this beloved community. And thank you so much.
Oh, thank you very much. That was well said. Thank you.
No, it's okay. It's up to you. Lewis, come on now.
Come on, Lewis.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Just talk about the yoga. Yeah, you want to say something about that yoga? Just say how much you like it.
Hi.
Say good morning.
Good morning, everyone. I want to say,
Just say how much you like the yoga.
I like yoga so much, and it's a part of my life. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe Miss Carmen.
Colleagues, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much. All right, so our first presentation was Mr. Wesson with the dog. Now we had Downward Facing Dog by Mr. Gil Cedillo. Now we're going to go on to Council Member Jose Huizar for a special presentation as well. It's Friday, people. All right. We're going to go, oh, we're not on 5. Did we pass 5 and 6 yet? Okay, not yet. We're going to note 5 and 6. The floor is yours.
Good morning, Mr. President. Thank you very much. Indeed, this is a special presentation. You know, we all understand the impact that a mentor can have on a young person. And I think all of us around the horseshoe and here in the public, and all of us can name people in our lives who taught us, empowered us, and guided us on living a good life, making a difference in the world, and using our God-given abilities to reach our full potential. Unfortunately, there are many of our youth who grow up in an increasingly difficult world without somebody who they can rely on for guidance and support when they need it the most. But thank God for 90 years, the Catholic Big Brothers, Big Sisters of America program has helped fill that void for countless youth throughout the Los Angeles and County and Southern California. Joining me at the podium today is Ken Martinet, President and CEO of Catholic Big Brothers, Big Sisters of America, along with his fellow staff and volunteers. Ken will speak in a few minutes, but for now, let me say something about Catholic Big Brothers and Big Sisters. Young people who were struggling in academics or going down the wrong path socially have turned their lives around due to the connections they make with their mentors, or BIGs as they're called. Through the support of donations, BIGs are interviewed and screened to be partnered up with a child who best matches their mutual interests. Through monthly outings and through programmed activities, these special bonds flourish and provide our youth with an environment of trust, safety, and respect. This not only benefits the children, it is a transformative experience for the mentors as well. Catholic Big Brothers, Big Sisters will be celebrating their 90 years of success on Thursday, May 26th in the courtyard of the USC Caruso Catholic Center at their Champions for Youth Gala. And we invite all of you to attend. And now let me ask Ken to share a few more words about this wonderful organization on their 90th anniversary. Welcome, Ken. Round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you very much for us being honored today. It's been a surprise to some degree, but we've been here in Los Angeles for 90 years. I myself am a Los Angelino. I was born here myself, so I've been around a while, not quite 90, but my father was born at French Hospital, not far from here, so we have a lot of deep roots. We have a long history with the city of Los Angeles. Mr. Los Angeles, Joseph Scott, I don't know if you've seen his statue over in the park, was the founder of our agency back in 1925. So we go way back, and he started our agency. We had 200 men sign up the first day to be mentors to children. Also working with the city of Los Angeles, we started a home for boys here on Main Street in 2nd, which is long closed, but we've continued our work. We opened the Rancho San Antonio out in the San Fernando Valley back in the 30s. So we have a lot of work that we've done with the city. We've worked with the LA City, Los Angeles Unified School District, the police department, and many other departments. So we have a long history of working with you. The one thing about our program, and mentoring especially, is that 100% of our children graduate from high school. That's really important, especially in these challenging times. Most of our work is done here in Central LA and South LA, and we just pride ourselves in the work that our volunteers do. One of our volunteers who's actually been with the organization longer than I have, and I just celebrated my 21st year, is Chris Ranieri, who's been a Big Brother twice and been and started in the early 90s to be a Big Brother. So if he would say just a few words.
Thank you, Ken. So I've been with Catholic Big Brothers for approximately 25 years, 17 of which was mentoring 2 little brothers. The first of which, the end result was his grades really significantly improved. He took on leadership roles, being the team captain in his roller hockey league, and he actually wound up helping to mentor my second little brother. So Catholic Big Brothers is really a tremendous organization to really touch the youth of our population and help them become really, really great people. So thank you much.
Thank you. Yeah. I just want to make sure that we get the right accolades going. Our staff is unbelievable. Anyone who comes to our office realizes the hard work that we do. We follow up with each match. Currently, we have about 800 children in our program. The unfortunate part is that 400 of them need mentors. So we're here to hopefully generate some interest in men, especially, joining our organization to be mentors. But I want to ask our VP of Programs, Rosario Delgadillo, who's been with the agency for 22 years, to say a little bit that I missed, perhaps.
Thank you, Ken. Well, I'm a little older than Ken, as he said. I've been here for 22 years, and I just have to tell you it's been a privilege and an honor to do the work that we do. We are so blessed to work with people from the community, young and old, who step up to the plate and want to mentor a child. Mentoring works. And so with this opportunity, I'm putting out a call to action to all of you. If you yourselves are interested in getting involved in what we do, which is mentoring, or if you know someone, please connect them with us. As Ken said, we have children waiting, always more boys and girls, and we always have kids waiting for another positive role model in their lives. Thank you so much for this recognition.
And many of you will recognize Julie Guevara. She's with us for the last almost a year. And I don't know if you want to say anything, Julie, or... No, she doesn't. Okay. She's not that shy at work, let me tell you. But thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And indeed, mentoring can happen informally or formally, and this is a great way to partner up for those who want to mentor and young boys and girls who want to be mentored. So thank you so much for your work. I certainly can recall the work of Father Jim Nieblas and Masamichi Kiyomiya, my two mentors, who certainly helped shape my life and my view of the world and exposed me to things outside of my immediate neighborhood. So thank you so much. And on behalf of the City of Los Angeles, we want to commend you on 90 years of service. Not only commend you, but thank you and encourage you to keep doing more. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you. And before you leave the podium for a second, imagine being 25 years old. You're busy with your career. You've just finished college. In fact, you're engaged to get married and start your own family. So you're busy. You finally reached that age where life is just beginning and life is busy. And you decide that you're going to stop everything you're doing while you're planning your wedding, starting off that career, buying your first home. And you're going to take the time to get involved and mentor a child. You're actually going to leave a lot of the time, the most valuable thing we have is time, and become a big brother or big sister. Thank God Ed Krug did that when I was 12 and he was 25. Because I grew up without a father who was a 100% disabled vet. Ed and I are still close friends. He lives back east and we talk all the time. His kids have now met my kids, and we always, every time he's here, we visit, and when I go back east, we visit. Changed my life, turned my life around, took me to my first ball game. First time I'd ever been to Disneyland was with him. I went to his wedding when he got married. I held his daughter, who's now grown and out of school, when she was first born. What you guys are doing is incredibly special. It changes lives for years, for generations. San Antonio Boys Home is in my district. When I was in elementary school, one of my best friends lived there. And I remember my mom we used to drive over there on the weekends and sign him out so he can stay at our house and be around the family as well. And still very close with the organization, and they're regularly, and they're doing incredible work as well. So I just wanted to give you a personal shout out to say thank you very much to each and every one of you for what you're doing to make a difference in so many lives, but particularly not just to the organization, but to the mentors, the big brothers and sisters that are out there doing it. Hats off to them. God bless them. And thanks for coming out here today.
I do want to say something very quickly. Having worked in city government, having worked in state government in the past, and now in the nonprofit world, and having been with former Mayor Villaraigosa in all of those capacities, and having worked with nonprofits, seeing this organization now and being their director of strategic partnerships and bringing what I can to the table for them, seeing this organization being around for 90 years, and also seeing 100% of these littles graduating from high school. Mm-hmm. There's something to be said for that.
It's a lot to be said for that.
A lot to be said for that.
Hear, hear.
Because I have seen nonprofits through city and state government that do not reach these kind of numbers.
Right.
And it is amazing to me, and this is why now I am working with them. And it is astounding, the 100% graduation rate from high school and going on to 97% going on to four-year universities. Mm-hmm. It's amazing, and it's something to be said. And I think this is why I asked Councilmember Huizar to bring them this recognition today for 90 years. This is it's just amazing to me, having been in city government and state government all these years, and now working nonprofit. I've chaired the National Latino Board for Big Brothers Big Sisters. I started that board because we needed to bring that recognition for underprivileged children, the communities that are not represented or weren't represented 20 years ago when I started that board. This is what needed to happen.
These are the children we serve. They needed to be reflected in the numbers. The numbers that were being served needed to be represented, and now they are being represented. And now this is what's happening with the mentors. And thank you so much for telling your story, Council Member. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Mr. President, for sharing, and thank you to Ed Cruz as well for doing a wonderful job, and thank you, Julie, for all your hard work. Congratulations again on behalf of the City of Los Angeles, and let's keep this work going, whether it's to Catholic Big Brothers, Big Sisters, or informal ways of mentoring our young people needed out there. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Let's give another big round of applause. All right, with that, folks, we're going to go ahead and actually take items 3 through 8 all together and collectively, 3 through 8, and we've got cards on 3 through 8. All right, we've got cards from Wayne on 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Wayne, you'll stay on subject on each one of the items. If you're off subject once, you're going to forfeit the entire time, not just on each item. So I'll tell you that right now. You know the rules, but those are the rules. So you'll stay on subject on each subject. If you defer from the subject matter, you'll forfeit your time. Thank you. Mr. Blumenfield.
I'd like to recognize...
Oh, before we begin his clock, we'd like to give the floor to Councilmember Bob Blumenfield to recognize some special guests.
We've got some great students in the back. If you guys want to stand up, from Village Charter Academy, Canoga Park, with Mrs. Schmay. The teachers, Ms. Levine, and the supportive parents are here.
Let's give them a round of applause.
District. All right. Thank you guys for coming out here and seeing the process. I apologize in advance for things you may hear in the next few minutes. It's free speech. We get a lot of interesting comments, but thank you for coming to be part of the process.
All right. I will remind you there are children present, and I appreciate it. And let's go ahead and start his clock.
Right. Item number 1. Changing the name of Elysian Park to Vince Scully Avenue.
Not on item 1. So I'm going to tell you if you're off subject again. I'm not going to repeat it. I've repeated it 3 times. That'll be the rest of your time. Stay on the ones you filled out cards for and the ones that I've called you up to.
Item number 7. Okay. Relative to an offer of reward of information leading to the identification, apprehension, and conviction of persons responsible for shooting Robert Ellis Jr. on March 25th, 2016. You mean the life of a man is only worth 50,000 miserable fucking dollars? For information leading to the apprehension, identification, and conviction. That's why I wear a hood. Because when you get involved with the LAPD and you become a snitch, you get a stitch, and then you're permanently a bitch in the hood. And they publish the required notices. But the problem is when you publish the notices, all of it gets ripped down by the gang members covering up the crime. Then we get next to accepting donations for pedestrian street lighting in the Toluca Lake area. And then by those motherfuckers at NBC Universal who own Universal Studios, that own Channel 4, why, they just own half of L.A. Los Angeles. And Sarah Street Walkway is going to get $70,000 from NBC Universal. Now, what did NBC Universal get for $70,000? They got $74 million of entitlements from the city to redesign the on-ramps and the on-ramps and the off-ramps of the 101 freeway so they could make $85,000 times $70. That's because our city is so fucking stupid that they couldn't sell the entitlements for millions of dollars, instead only accepting a mere 70,000 fucking miserable dollars in CD fall. And that's because we used to have different people running CD fall, but now the people running CD fall don't understand politics and economics. And then we get all this other shit for training services. The LAPD wants to spend like $7 million. $7 million to kill niggas. $7 million to tow cars. $7 million to shake down political dissidents. $7 million to kill more Negroes and blacks and Latinos. $7 million to pull over Asians who go over to Staples Center to watch a basketball game. $7 million to terrorize the neighborhood even more. $7 million to illegally detain and arrest people for speaking at a fucking public meeting in their own headquarters. That's what $7 million is for. And because they get the $7 million, then they're going to get $100 million after the $7 million. And all the little kids are going to go home at night without their parents home. Why, Mama, aren't you home? Because $7 million went to shoot Daddy on his way home from work because he was driving brown while driving in a white neighborhood over there in the valley. So $7 million of total compensation bullshit to sit there and suppress the people of this city so they can steal your money and terrorize you. That's what the $7 million is for, and that's what the LAPD is for. The LAPD is simply there to terrorize you, collect your money, and enforce the rules so this city council can fuck with everybody in this city and torture suspects who merely want to speak freely.
Thank you for being, yet again, so eloquent. All right, so on items, Mr. Walsh, items 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And again, Mr. Walsh, I'll let you know the same thing. Stay on topic on each item, and there won't be any additional warnings, so I just want to let you know. Thank you.
I only want 4 minutes because I want to speak on item 1. You can't put 5 minutes up there. It's a violation of the Brown Act. Item 3, this is installation of Harvey Firestein on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. That's good. There are hardly any upfront, open gay people on Hollywood Boulevard with stars. I think for the next 5 years you should only put openly gay people, give them stars, because they're way, way, way behind in what they deserve. Famous people. Board of Police Commissioners, Trust Fund. Okay, this, incidentally, you want to know why the street in front of your house looks like shit? Because this is what they're going to vote on. And they're not going to talk about it. And if I say this, and if I'm wrong, you correct me. LAPD is going to spend $50,000, $53,827 on upgrading a storage room where they're going to keep the black scalps. In other words, they're going to start scalping black people. And believe me, these white boys up here, these Uncle Toms up here, don't give a shit whether you black people live or die unless you're related to them. Number five, this is professional services, Cedar. Oh, these are the people who decide whether the city financial obligation is limited to the appropriated budget. Excuse me, it's $1.13 million for them to decide, again, whether you're doing a good job or not. They're going to bring somebody in here to find out whether you're going to do a good job. $1.13 million. Take a look at your streets. Take a look at what shit it is. Take a look at the broken sidewalks. This is what they're spending the money on. And now that's next one is Motorola services for a communication system. We don't have enough communication now. This is $420,000, and U.S. Treasury. This comes from the U.S. Treasury Department. Transfer of $220,000. Nobody knows what's going on except we have the worst sidewalks in America, and Motorola is getting a contract. Now, and of course, on Robert Ellis was murdered, $50,000, and $50,000. The rewards mean nothing. Snitches get stitches. If you try to collect this reward, and everybody in South Central knows who murdered this guy, and if they talk, one of these people up here will have one of their person in the city snitch on him, and then he'll have his throat slit. 3 minutes I used.
All right, Mr. Dog. 4, 5, and 6.
Just talk about all the items I had cards on for the full 5 minutes of okay, I'll start with number 1. A little bit of time.
You're on 4, 5, and 6.
Oh, you're doing 4, 5, and 6 right now? Okay, well, this is about the police. 4 is about $68,000 for to upgrade a storage room. What is it, the Ritz-Carlton? But anyway, I'm going to support that. And then after that, we have with the LAPD to receive gun training, $7 million for LAPD, and I'm going to talk about that. And then also the Board of Commissioners, a contract with Motorola for communication systems. And I say that the City Council needs to approve all money for LAPD upgrades, training, improvements, everything. And this is not about to enforce the citizens and the residents currently here in LA. This is because of Obama and what he has done. We need this. And please pay attention, council members. You're good people that are here to protect the safety of the constituency. And Barack Obama is making that extremely difficult for you. I believe that he is a Trojan horse terrorist who is here to truly undermine America. Where do these people come?
Mr. So you're off topic, so your time is up. You've just forfeit the rest of your time. Sorry. I've given the warnings 7 times.
I didn't hear any warning.
So.
Let me link to it immediately then. I believe that the city of Los Angeles needs these police upgrade improvements because this city, more than any other city in America, is where the people are coming that are negative factions here to undermine the most dangerous people. And if you notice that, and just ask Mike Bonin, do we not have a homeless crisis that you don't know what to do with these people anymore? Okay, that's because Barack Obama's made it very unsafe for Los Angeles through his policies and through his shipping in the people that are very dangerous to this country. And we, once again, bear the burden of it, and they all come right to the west side, Venice Beach. Also, just come down to Venice Beach. The council members need to come to Venice, the West Side District. If you just fly in here to undermine America and blow everything up and jump on social services, well, you come to Los Angeles, and then they become your problem.
Okay, your time is forfeit. That was your final warning because you weren't on the subject. Sorry. Okay, your time. You could stay. You could stick around. Now you're disrupting the meeting. You'll be asked to leave the meeting if you're going to continue to yell out. That includes those in the audience as well. If you want to disrupt this meeting, you'll be asked to leave as well. Do you want to continue that? I'll leave it up to you. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead to the next speaker, Mr. Previn. Same warning to you. Please stay on subject. 4, 6, and 8 are the 3 cards that you filled out. 4, 6, and 8 on subject, please. Just following the rules of the council. Thank you.
I would like 4 minutes. I'm going to reserve 1 minute for item number 1. Item number 4 is a upgrade to a storage room for LAPD, and this is your groups or the police commissioners, your buddies are approving it. Now, what it is here is it's about 53 grand. What caught my attention was upgrading a storage room is obviously a critically important dimension for the public. But when we hear that of the budget of 53 grand, 23,000 of it is going for communication services, our eyebrows go up a little bit like, how much communication can there be about redoing the storage room, and why in the world would we be agreeing to that? Has anybody really looked at this, is what comes to mind. So I don't know. I know that you're trying, I assume, but this is really very, very unorthodox, I must tell you. Okay, moving on to item number 6, which, Mr. Englander, I know you have been installed for a number of years and are moving forward with your own agenda. The Englander, Knabe and Allen firm is the lobbyist for Motorola Solutions, which is the item before us today, item number 6. This is an item which, believe it or not, the government is using some asset forfeiture money. That's the City of LA. We've taken asset forfeiture money from 3 different sources. Asset forfeiture, for those who didn't read the August 2013 article in the New Yorker called Taken, is where law enforcement is able to, and it sounds good on paper, to take the assets of people who did wrong and then use that money for good. So this, in context, is the good, allegedly. We're spreading the money towards something that most people would argue is very, very good, which is improving our dispatch system. Certainly everybody's upset about timing on that. There were some fudging of the numbers of how quickly we could respond, but nonetheless, everybody wants to know if you call 911, they're going to be there. And we also want to know in the future, Mr. Bonin, that they are going to be able to text in their messages soon and saying, hey, we got a crisis, let's get this thing, get a car over and let's get it going. Now, Boingo, also lobbying through Englander, Knabe and Allen, spent $91,000 in Q4 giving it to Englander, Knabe and Allen to lobby that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of activity in the lobbyist space. Motorola only gave $15,000 to this group here at the city. They gave $15,000 across the street at the county as well. But what happens in this particular case is we feed more money into a $6 million existing contract with Motorola that never really gets bid on, even though there are all these hot customers out there like various internet companies and Silicon Valley experts who could really tune up some of the older infrastructure and do a very, very, very nice job of it. But all that gets shut down because of items like this that get nickel and dime, put it over here, move it over there. Nobody's going to question the dispatch system, except for some people who look closely and go, wait a minute, why are we doing this? And why is it not competitively bid? And why don't we have a real plan as opposed to leaving behind? It looked to me like there's a 1.5 million of it is for later. We'll talk about it later. Just move it in. So that is, of course, very, very upsetting to me, even though I'm very much in support of improving the communication system and getting the times, down. So that leaves me with, I guess, item 8. Is that correct, sir? Or what is the final item? I know you're paying attention to make sure I don't go off point. Is it 8?
Yeah, 8.
No, I don't think it is 8. Is it? Yeah, it is. Okay, it's Mr. Rue. Thank you. Mr. Rue, we've had a little conversation about NBC Universal and their generosity over the last couple weeks. We are very appreciative. This is a trusted partner. I don't think anybody is going to disagree.
You're going over your minute.
No, I'm not, sir. You said 4 minutes. Okay, well, then I'll stop because I want the...
Well, okay, well, you... Okay, so we'll go ahead and vote on 3 through 8. Please open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
All right, those are approved. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, there's a request to have items 5 and 6 to go forthwith.
Okay, that'll be the order without objection. Thank you very much. We'll go ahead and go into item 2 now. Donna Bullock.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Donna Bullock. I'm the attorney for the owners of an apartment building at 716 South Westlake. We are here for a vote to remove the property from the REAP program, where this property in particular is a 28-unit apartment building owned by my clients, has been in REAP since August of 2012. I want to let you all know that that is not due to any lack of diligence on the part of my clients to remediate this rather problem building. My clients have worked diligently over the last 3 years, and I brought this not to show you as an exhibit, but as more of a visual aid. This is broken down by month, representing over $500,000 in costs and repairs that they have expended every single month since this property went into REAP after they purchased it in August of 2013. So my clients repaired the structural issues back in 2013, but there were additional health problems that have been corrected and remediated. There have been huge expenditures of labor and materials, no income to my clients. They've covered the mortgage payments. They paid for all the repairs out of pocket and have worked diligently, not giving up on this property, and have finally, and we're very pleased to see, passed every inspection, the health inspections from the health department, the building department, and it is now a nice property and in good condition due to the excellent work of my clients. In this particular situation, they have been honorable members of the community and worked very hard on this property, and I want to advocate that they are uniquely entitled to have the property removed from REAP and to basically have their ownership of the property returned to them in full.
Thank you so much. Ms. Antonia Ramirez, followed by Mr. Dog, followed by Mr. Walsh.
What number is this?
Number 2.
Thank you very much. Excuse me, I just got in. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Resolution. Again, we have all these rent escrow account programs, and no one is enforcing the rule of law in these uninhabitable premises. Now, instead of going against the slumlords, why don't you go after the fucking wetbacks and the fucking cockroach gangbangers? Go after those who are destroying the premises, the property, the community, and the city. Come on, city attorney, man. How many times do we have to remind you? It spreads like vermin. These gangbangers...
Ms. Ramirez, you need to speak to the item, ma'am. Ms. Ramirez, you need to speak to the item 2, and not address the city attorney.
Remove these premises if they can't be fixed or they can't be sold, but remove the gangbangers and wetbacks and napalm their asses out of here back to wherever the hell they came from, city attorney. That's why I'm voting for Donald Trump. Again, these housings, they keep coming up every 3 days, every week. What's going on? Why isn't the city attorney enforcing the units, the habitability? Why aren't they enforcing the rule of law by putting out these citations? And why aren't they receiving monies for these citations? Why aren't they curing these problems? There are good law-abiding citizens living in these uninhabitable premises, but yet they can't tell anybody because they're just what? How does that go? Snitches get stitches? Okay. So again, city attorney, you live in a wonderful home. You make over $400,000 a year. Come on, man. Give me a break. There's a lot of dwelling homes that are going down the toilet. Get rid of these goddamn wetbacks. The racist, hate-mongering, nosy son of a bitches. They are...
Mrs. Ramirez, you're not speaking on the item, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Ramirez. Your time is up. Thank you. Ms. Ramirez, I'm going to have you removed. Ms. Ramirez. Ms. Ramirez, I'm going to ask you to please sit down or please leave the council chambers. Next speaker is Zuma Dog on item 2, sir.
Yes, I would like to recommend council remove these properties from the rent escrow program, otherwise known as REAP. And in case you're just tuning in, REAP, rent escrow, if you just heard this lady that spoke, she has just said everything that I've been coming here for 10 years talking about this program. And I'd like to tell council that the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigations, has an open probe into this program. They have interviewed city employees, and they have interviewed people in the rent escrow program. Now, the problem is that the city, thug, mafia, inspectors, like the Tony Soprano type, they'll go up to a property and say, you know, your fence is like a quarter-inch too high, you know. Gee, you need to do this little improvement here, whatever. You have to spend tons of money. Sometimes the banks won't give you the money for those improvements. Now, here's the real problem. You heard this lady. After hundreds of thousands of dollars and years of improvements, you can't get off the rent escrow program. It's Hotel California, baby. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never get off a REAP. Because what happens is, it happened to my friend. And here's what happened. He bought a home, and it had a lien on it, but he already bought the home, and it had been taken care of. So he called up, and they said, oh, yeah, you know what? You're right. This has been taken care of. I forgot to flip it over to page 2. Okay. So then they wouldn't send him confirmation of that, and he kept getting notices passed down the line. He couldn't get off of this program. You know what happened? I said, give me this guy's number. I go, hey, you see that piece of paper there that says that it's complied? Fax it over now. He's like, well, gee, I got to go to lunch. I'll do it after lunch. I say, you know what? I'm calling the FBI on Wilshire right now. You got 15 minutes or I'm giving them your number. I had it in 12 minutes. Herb's paying attention. Tell these people to get these people off the programs once they get off the program, okay? Thank you. Zoom it dog, zoomitdog.com. Thank you.
Got any votes from this naming? Home rule?
Mr. Walsh.
Lord.
Stay on the subject.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org or at J. Walsh Confidential. This is item 1 concerning and tweeting at Hollywood Dems. This is the changing of Elysian Park Avenue to Vince Scully Avenue, I believe. This, incidentally, but we want, not only do we want that, we want Ross Parker Avenue.
This is item number 2.
2. It says number 1 up there, item number. Okay. But in any case, REAP, you do an excellent job on REAP. Remember, when you do a good job, I don't attack it. No. That's for old white guys. Old white guys. I'm telling you right now, you do an excellent job on REAP. And whenever I've complained about anything concerning my landlord who isn't that bad, you come through.
All right, thank you very much. That concludes all the cards on this item. We'll go ahead and open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
And now we'll go ahead and go over to item 1. Called special by cards.
Yes. Me, you. You holding up, boss? Oh, boy. Get some rest. Get out of here.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead. Let's go over to item 1. And we're going to go set the clock to a minute each on these. We do have a big stack of cards, and I do want to get through all of them to give everybody an opportunity. Lawrence Freed, please. Lawrence.
1 minute. Good.
Hi, honorable council members. My name is Lawrence Freed. I'm a resident, business person, and community activist in the Echo Park area, Council District 1, Councilmember Cedillo. And I'm here to speak against this motion because I think it is really quite inappropriate at many levels, and I feel as a community member it's been really pushed on us without the appropriate participation in it. There are lots of ways to honor Mr. Scully, and that, I'd love to talk to your office, council member, but more appropriate, I believe. But the three reasons, there are many points, and I'm sure other people will speak to them, but the three that I will bring up are, number one, if you look at all the paperwork that's in the file online, there's a couple items from the neighborhood council.
Thank you. Gustavo. Thank you, sir. Gustavo. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Gustavo.
You rat bastards.
Gustavo still here? No? George Chan. I'm trying to read the writing, so I apologize. Urza? Or Lorzu?
Good morning. Luisa Padilla Meropoulos, 38-year Echo Park resident. We're living with increased homelessness, displacements in my community. At taxpayer expense, you now want to gift the Dodger organization with its own street, Vince Scully Plaza. Why? The outreach was poor, very, very poor. Using the small lot ordinance and what is considered by many an illegal gang injunction, you cleanse the Echo Park community of its working class people, the renters, retired citizens, etc. In front of me, I see Hernan Cortez, you, and I see the rest of the city council as the conquerors that came over and just took over our community. Sad situation here. Remember, the mayor just signed a check for $30 million regarding the illegal gang injunction. And shame on you for pimping the people again. Do the words taxation without representation mean anything to you? It should. Thank you.
Ari Bezendorf, followed by Jacqueline.
Council members, thank you. I'm a past president of the Echo Park Neighborhood Council. I'm a member of the Dodgers Advisory Board for the community of Echo Park. I'm a member of the LA Host Lions Club, and I'm also a licensed attorney. Everybody loves Vince Scully. He's a Los Angeles institution. But the way that CD1 and Councilmember Cedillo has conducted outreach in this matter has been outrageous. Not a single community group has been contacted. Of the residents of Elysian Park Avenue who have been contacted, 12 versus 4 oppose this action. There's no reason that the Dodgers and Elysian Park cannot coexist. We propose Vince Scully Plaza at the corner of Elysian Park and Stadium Way. The council member should be ashamed at using the legacy of Vince Scully to blot out Elysian Park. Thank you very much.
Good morning. I am a daughter and sister and runner of Echo Park for the last 26 years, and I've been running for 11. I feel that Elysian Park Avenue is the entrance to the park. It's not the entrance to the Dodgers. It's the entrance to the quinceañeras, the parties, the entrance to the police academy. It's much more than just the Dodgers. Elysian Park has been there before the Dodgers even was there. So I just feel that you guys should consider that perspective. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Mr. Eric Eisenberg.
Good morning, council members. Many of you know me, or some of you know me, as the president of LA DOT Commission and previously a Harbor Area Planning Commissioner. Having recently completed my ethics training, I want to make it very clear that I am not speaking in either of those capacities today. I am strictly a private citizen and property owner of 1245 Elysian Park Avenue. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, the disclaimers, my home was built in 1890, about 68 years before the Dodgers came to town, and Elysian Park was probably the first park of Los Angeles. Elysian Park Avenue is undoubtedly historic to our community. Vince Scully was a household name in my family growing up. Anybody would mention his name in any part of Los Angeles automatically associated him with the Dodgers and the voice over the radio. 50 years from now, Elysian Valley will still be there.
Thank you. Kathleen Murphy.
I'm a longtime resident of Echo Park. I live on the border. My husband's family has lived in Echo Park over 100 years ago. Elysian Park does not belong to the Dodgers. It was a total shock to hear that this name change was being proposed without including any of the residents who live and enjoy the park. But the park also belongs to the city as a whole. And for one district to make these changes on their own without consulting at least the residents is outrageous. Also, the fact is that the money, the $5,000 that you're spending on that could well go to supporting the park budget for maintenance that the Dodgers don't take care of, the city takes care of. And this last Easter weekend, it took 4 days for the park employees to be able to clean up the park. So, Mr. Cedillo, I think you really did this without...
Great, thank you. Thank you. Peter Lassen. Peter.
Thank you, council members. I'd just like to agree with what has previously been said. This name change for Elysian Park Avenue was not coordinated with the local community. As a resident of more than 30 years, I was not contacted, nor were any other people that I know to change this name. I see now that the name change will require a $5,000 cost to the city. We also oppose that. That $5,000 can be used for a lot more very good things in the city. And to change the name of Elysian Park Avenue, which is historic, is foolish. We do, by the way, support Vin Scully Square. I also love Vin Scully with the Dodgers. But when a name change has to happen, please, please ensure that the public is communicated with.
Great. Thank you very much. Mr. Ramirez? Tonia?
I am very sorry. I do not know who Vin Scully is, and I was just enlightened by Mr. Spindler and others. I'm sorry. But I would like to have the name changed of Elysian Park to El Jefe, Donald Trump, because he is going to restore that beautiful park who has so much legacy and so much history. And that's what we need, Donald Trump. The man's got balls. The man's enlightened.
You're not on the subject. Sorry. You're absolutely not on the subject. Thank you. Thank you. All right. You've had 2 warnings. Your time's up. Thank you very much. Excuse me, your time, ma'am, now you're disrupting the meeting. Have a nice weekend. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Walsh.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org, living in L.A. First 1966. Not one person has got up here and said they were in favor of changing the street to Vin Scully. Oh, but Vin Scully comes from my neighborhood in the Bronx. So why don't we let people in the Bronx name some street after him? There's nobody here. You didn't talk to anybody in the city. You're imperial. You change names, and it's going to cost a lot more than $5,000. And everybody on that street will have to buy new stationery. And let me tell you, when you kissed Vince Scully's ass, you had 25 Dodgers here, and he thought so little of Vince Scully Day, he didn't even show up here. Vince Scully, forget about him. If he wants the street, let him go up there and pay $50,000 to $100,000 to change the name of Dodger Stadium to Vince Scully Stadium.
Mr. Previn.
Thank you. It's Eric Previn from CD2. And Elysian Park has unusual historical value. It was the first city municipal park. I don't know if members of the board who are going to vote on this in a minute know that. I also want you to know that we did hear that it sounded like 12 neighbors were opposed and 4 were for this, and everybody loves Vin Scully, so let's get the respect piece moved off to the side. I think there are 2 better alternatives. I think that there's at the corner of Elysian Park, Mr. Cedillo, and Stadium Way, there's a plaza that could aptly be named for the great hero, or alternatively, there is the entire Stadium Way that it's my understanding that the locals and the neighbors and all of us in the other districts would more than be very pleased to have named after Mr. Scully. But to take a very small and rare gem of LA history and kind of put a big sign on, I think Mr. Scully himself would have mixed feelings. I just think that we should do something that is consistent with the community's I mean, these are people who are living in this environment. This is an area that has great historical value that obviously in 60 seconds I can't do justice, but thank you. And also,
Thank you very much. So with that, we'll go ahead and we're done with public comment cards. We'll go ahead and open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Great. Thank you very much. That item is approved. Thank you very much. So I believe that takes us to general excuse me. Please don't yell out from the council chambers. It'll be disrupting the meeting, so I appreciate that. Thank you so much. With that, we'll go ahead and go into general public comment. So general public comment, we'll go ahead and go into general public comment. Mr. Zumadog for general public comment. And before any of the general public comment folks start speaking, it is for items specifically and only under the purview. I just want to let some folks know that haven't spoke under general public comment before. For those that have or regularly do, you know, it's for items only under the purview of this body, not to address members directly, but only under items directly related to items within the purview of this body. So, please go ahead.
Totally wrong. He's totally wrong already. I won a federal lawsuit. Dean Pragerson, you're allowed to address the council members directly, Mitch Englander, a.k.a. Bitch Dicklander. Now, let me say, I want council to talk to Mr. Englander. He's using council time and money to run for Board of County Supervisors. And what he did, the punk bitch is hiding behind a cop badge to run for supervisor. He ain't no fucking cop.
Okay, again, you're not on items under the purview of this body. You're not under items under the purview of the body. So bring it back. Bring it back. You know the rules. Bring it back to the items under this body.
That there's no item. It's general public comment.
Now you're yelling?
Hey,
We're not going to allow that. If you're going to yell,
Englander's dad,
we're not going to have you yell.
I see you federal court pussy hiding behind a cop badge to run for supervisor. You're no fucking cop. You're a bitch. Bitch Dicklander.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Mr. Dog was yelling into the mic. He was disrupting the meeting by yelling into the mic.
And not only disrupting the meeting by yelling into the mic, it also interferes with the translators and other staff. And so we ask all members not to yell into the mic and to keep it to items within the purview of this body. Thank you very much.
I'd like to continue now with the time you took from me.
I didn't take any time, sir. You were yelling.
16 seconds. Hey, there's no rule about the mic. You don't lose free speech because your fucking mic is pussy ass.
Okay, now
he's disrupting the meeting by yelling.
The meeting. Have a nice weekend. Thank you. All right, Antonio Ramirez. Ms. Ramirez. Antonio Ramirez.
This is a matter of principle. I am a victim of gang stalking. I don't believe in violence. I've had the niggers and the wetbacks stalking me, harassing me. Last night at the YMCA Ketchum, I had a black sitting next to me at the steps at closing time, and he brandished a weapon or popped a knife and then a Scotch duct tape. And he was sort of mumbling like, this is the way it's got to be done. And I then called the cops on this goddamn black who came up to harass me. I didn't sleep last night. I was out in the rain. I went to the YMCA, and this morning I get harassed by another goddamn nigger. And what happens? The Latinos at the front desk, Darlene and Eddard, said, no, he's not hurting you. Of course not. The police were called to the scene last night against the nigger who was harassing me, and I'm not doing anything wrong. And then this morning, again, I'm not doing anything wrong. They're sticking a cell phone in my face, harassing me, stalking me everywhere I go. But yet, they're above the law. They're black. Then I go to the...
Excuse me, please, there's no yelling into the microphones. Again, that'll be the final warning. But your time is up. I waited till your time was up to let you know.
Off. You cut me off.
Ma'am.
You censor me, and you cut me off.
Now you're disrupting the meeting. Did you wish to continue disrupting the meeting? Okay, ma'am, that's the fifth warning. I'm going to ask you to leave council chambers. Sergeants, if you can please escort her to exit council chambers. Thank you very much, ma'am. Have a nice weekend. We'll wait for you to grab your belongings. Thank you. Thank you. You're still yelling out from the chambers. Excuse me, ma'am. You're still yelling out from the chambers, so we're going to wait for you to exit council chambers so we can continue the meeting. Sergeants, can you please escort her out of the chamber? She's refusing to leave. And it's still yelling out from the chambers. Have a nice weekend, ma'am. Sergio?
Hi, good morning. My name is Sergio Sorza. I am a PBX operator at the Crown Plaza Hotel LAX. Me and my coworker, Jesus Jimenez, were unjustly fired last Tuesday on blank termination papers. And shortly before we were terminated, we were each allegedly accused of allegedly urinating ourselves in a trash can bathroom inside the employee's restroom on 2 separate days. This is clearly an unjust firing, and this should not be happening within the jurisdiction of Los Angeles, and we expect this council to respond to this injustice. We are here to ask for your support, to write letters, to call our number directly at the hotel and ask our general manager and the owners to please hire us back and to stop with the intimidations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Jesus?
Días. Voy a hablar español. Mi nombre es Jesús Jiménez.
Un momento. We have a translator, please. Yeah, okay, we got it. Okay, we're good.
Good morning. My name is Jesus Jiménez.
Mi nombre es Jesús Jiménez. Fui empleado en el Crown Plaza de Los Ángeles por
I was employed at Crown Plaza of Los
32
Angeles
años.
for 32
Es la
years.
segunda vez que tratamos de organizarnos en la Unión por tanta injusticia que tenemos ahí dentro.
This is the second time that we've tried to organize ourselves and join a union due to the great injustice that's taken place within that hotel.
Y venimos aquí a pedir su apoyo
And we're here to ask for your support
por tantas injusticias que hay ahí adentro.
due to all the injustices that are taking place within that workplace.
Mucha gente ahí está intimidada por los managers.
A lot of people, a lot of the employees are being intimidated by the managers.
Mi compañero y yo somos líderes de la Unión.
My coworker and I were union leaders.
Fuimos a la Human Resources a pedir respeto,
We went to Human Resources to ask for them to respect us
que no se intimidara más a la gente.
and to ask them to stop the intimidation of their employees.
Y después de una semana que pasó eso,
And after a week, after all this happened,
mi compañero y yo fuimos despedidos por supuestamente orinarnos en el baño de los empleados en un trash can.
my coworker and I were fired, allegedly because we urinated in a trash can in the employee's bathroom.
Es por lo cual venimos a pedir su apoyo por esas injusticias que están pasando ahí dentro.
That's a reason why we're here asking for your support to help us overcome all those injustices that are taking place in that hotel.
Y pedirles que nos regresen al trabajo.
And also, we're asking you to support us so that we can get our jobs back.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming today. Jacqueline Richardson?
I believe holographs should be registered in case they need to find out something if it's wrong with the owner, and in case of other problems. Some holographs work for the city, and some also work for the police department, I believe. I believe these are the things that are killing people and raping women. The holographs do these things because they were misprogrammed or not programmed enough. The holographs can also start or participate in a war. They can seal them real quickly. These holographs are computers who have to be programmed, and I believe they have batteries in them. I believe Obama has 5 to 6 holographs in the White House, and they represent him when necessary, and I also believe the new president will also have holographs. These holographs are not real people. They are things that need to be programmed.
Thank you. Mr. Walsh?
John Walsh at J. Walsh Confidential and the chair of the Anybody But Englander for supervisor. We had a big victory in court, and Englander had a huge defeat in court. The judge
Not under the purview of this body. That's not under the purview of this body.
You are under the purview.
Well, technically.
No, this is.
But that wasn't.
I want the judge, Mr. City Attorney. I'm talking about this man and whether he has a right. Let's hear from you, City Attorney. You're trying to stop me, and I'm telling you right now, Alex Padilla has come out in favor of Mr. Englander. Padilla is a Democrat. They're trying to fool Democrats into voting for Englander as if he is a Democrat. If you're a Republican, do not vote for Englander because he's now sucking Padilla's Democratic
All right.
cock.
Thank you so much for your eloquence. So much credibility. Mr. Wayne, I'm sure you'll top that.
We got a councilman that calls himself a police officer outside these walls. He ain't no police officer, but he puts himself down on a ballot as a police officer when he's lying. And the judge threw it out. No on Mitchell Englander for the Board of Supervisors. In fact, he should be thrown off this council for committing voter fraud. He ain't no police officer. He never been a police officer. And yet, you let him sign his name up as a city employee going out into the city, out of the county, into L.A. County, into various cities, and misrepresenting the fact that he is a member of the LAPD when he has never been a police officer. You endorse these frauds. No on Mitchell Englander for supervisor.
Lucia? Is it? Sorry, I was trying to read your writing again, ma'am. Yeah, you spoke earlier. I apologize.
Luisa Maropoulos. The city has removed hundreds of handicap access parking throughout the city, mine included in CD 13. In fact, when I was trying to work with the issue, Representative Adam Bass told me to fuck off and forget it. I would never see that handicap parking again. Not a cool thing to do. Sorry. You claim to care for the disabled, yet your actions speak louder than your words. And With a Dog and Pony Show, CD1 presented today, using the disabled children to say how much you care about the disabled. If you cared that much, why did you do what you did in regards to the handicap parking issues, in regards to other issues that have to do with people with handicap issues? I don't get it. Mr. Cedillo, you should teach your worker, Melinda Alatorre, how to return phone calls, which she never does. And I don't know if it's a personal thing or what. And then the gentrification issue, watch out Leimert Park, because you're next. Thank you.
And our last speaker card, Mr. Previn.
Thank you, Councilmember Englander. I don't know what exactly I heard there, but if it is true that you've been misrepresenting yourself as a police officer, I would like to hear that from a judge, sir. I do not believe that. That does not seem right. Now, in terms of our election process here in the city government, there is a neighborhood council election that has just concluded. They haven't yet announced the results because they're counting the ballots. I think I saw Krikorian there. This was at a middle school in Studio City. It looked like a perfectly healthy little democracy at work. Regrettably, as Councilmember Marquise Harris Dawson and Council President Herb Wesson knows, and many others know, there were some substantial problems verging on electoral fraud. Now, I'm not sure what to do in the last 10 seconds about that. Again, there are no results, but it is an embarrassment to the residents from the communities that try to care and pay attention and be on point. And, you know, this body did absolutely nothing. We raised it up many times. Mr. Krikorian was helpful at getting candidate information.
Thank you very much. All right. So with that concludes the general public comment portion. And, Madam Clerk, do we have items for posting referral?
Yes, you do, Mr. President.
Go ahead and post and refer those. And seeing no other agenda items, do we have any announcements, colleagues? Seeing none, do we have any adjourning motions? One from, so if we can ask everybody in council chambers to please rise. Everybody in council chambers, including any guests, to please rise for adjourning motions. And we'll start off with Councilmember O'Farrell.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, the community of Glassell Park lost one of its strongest advocates this week, Betsy Mines. Betsy Mines was an Angelino who graduated from UCLA with a degree in drama, where her best friend and classmate was George Takei of Star Trek fame. It was the 1960s when being an out actor would have been career suicide, but Betsy understood the nature of her best friend George and stood by his side through thick and thin as his career began to flourish. They remained long-term friends. After college, Betsy worked in the County Department of Public Social Services. In her 36-year career with the county, she worked in family services with the Aid to Families with Dependent Children, learning on the job, doing family visits in Compton, South LA, Echo Park, and much of Southeast Los Angeles. Betsy was the whistleblower on a huge welfare fraud scheme in the 1970s, uncovering a woman using multiple aliases, numerous accounts, and fake children, saving taxpayers lots of money and calling attention to the need for greater oversight within the department. Part of her job included working for what was then called the Welfare Commission. She wrote resolutions that became law, arranged meetings and events, set agendas, took minutes. It is said, because of her long career with the county and the positive impacts she made, there are lots of proclamations and certificates tacked to the walls of Betty's garage. Betsy, a single mother after her divorce, raised her son Stephen Mines in an apartment in Los Feliz. When she was able to buy a house in Glassell Park, she had a choice of her house or the one next door, which then college-age Steve urged her to buy because it had a separate unit for him. She chose hers because it was cheaper. Betsy lived in her lovely sage green home in its beautiful canyon setting for many years until her passing, very sudden passing this week. Betsy was active in the Glassell Park Improvement Association for many years, right up until her sudden death this past Monday. In 1997, after receiving a matching fund grant, she organized the planting of dozens of jacaranda trees along a half-mile stretch of San Fernando Road. Former Councilmember Mike Hernandez helped facilitate the project and participated in the tree planting. Those trees now provide a shady canopy all along the boulevard. Upon retirement in 2000 and after being on the board of the GPIA, Betsy served as its president in 2001. My partner George and I knew Betsy for several years and had the pleasure of working alongside her on a number of volunteer projects. Betsy was a woman of great character, high standards, and a believer in volunteering to make good things happen in her community. She was a lover of the arts and the written word, writing several wonderful articles for the GPIA newsletter and donating generously to the Santa Cecilia Orchestra, attending most of their symphony concerts over the years. She was also a woman who did not exhibit strong emotions. One didn't always know exactly what Betsy was thinking. What I interpreted as friendly indifference to me personally, I learned after deciding to run for this seat on the LA City Council. She became one of my biggest supporters and helped directly in my campaign from the very beginning and was with me every step of the way. For that alone, I will be eternally grateful, but more than that, I'm appreciative for what she has done to benefit countless children and families in her professional career. I am also grateful for all she has done for the community of Glassell Park and the legacy of generosity she has left to all those that knew and loved her. May Betsy Mines, survived by her son Stephen Mines, rest in peace.
Thank you very much. Seeing no other, do we have one? Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Mr. Price.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today I rise to honor the life of a woman who was near and dear to so many of us, Martha Smith Battlebay, who passed away Wednesday evening. The woman who the LA Times called a guiding star in South Los Angeles was an enduring advocate for economic development and social equity. As founder and executive director of the Vermont Slauson Economic Development Corporation, she spearheaded millions of dollars in economic development projects in the Vermont Slauson community. During her life, Marva received numerous accolades and served on the board of National Congress for Community Economic Development, was a member of the Women's Business Entrepreneurs, and many, many more. Information is still coming in, and her services have not been announced, but I wanted to take a moment to remember her, all that she achieved, and how much she will be missed.
Thank you very much. Seeing one more, Councilmember Bonner.
Yeah, colleagues, I'd ask us to adjourn today in memory of Alejandro Mendez, who was a classmate of mine in the county foster care classes that my husband and I took last year. Alejandro died suddenly about a week ago as a result of a cancer that was diagnosed about a week before. He was a young guy, still in his late 40s, early 50s. He and his husband, Pablo Groba, had just adopted one young boy and were in the process of adopting another. Horrible, horrible loss, and I'd like us to adjourn in his memory. May he rest in peace.
Very sad. Okay, thank you. Seeing no other adjourning motions, then that concludes the council meeting. We are adjourned. Have a nice weekend and be safe.